أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد عليه الصلاة وأتم التسليم. أما بعد, inshallah we'll continue with Surah Yusuf, which is the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, Prophet Joseph alayhi salam, and today we'll continue from ayah number 36 for those who are following, alhamdulillah. So just a quick recap of what we talked about last time. So Yusuf alayhi salam was a very beloved son by his father, and he had a younger son, a brother. They were from a different mother than the other 10 brothers, so there were 12 brothers altogether. And those brothers thought that Yusuf alayhi salam, he was more loved by his father, so they wanted to kill him. And Yusuf saw in a dream that the sun, the moon, and 11 planets were prostrating down to him. So then they tried to kill him, but they wanted to kill him, but then they decided not to. They put him in the well, and then they told his father, then the wolf ate him, and then someone came and took him out of the well, and then they sold him for a very cheap price, and then the one who bought him was Al-Aziz, the treasurer of Egypt. And then he was raised by Al-Aziz, and Al-Aziz was nice to him. And at the end, there were some problems, and then the wife of Aziz was giving him hard time. So Yusuf alayhi salam prayed to Allah Azza wa Jalla, says, Allah, put me in prison. That's better for me than staying in this house where those women and those people are giving me hard time. So now here Allah Azza wa Jalla has left all this problems away from him, but then Allah Azza wa Jalla had a plan, and Allah Azza wa Jalla wanted him to go to prison for a specific reason, and we will see what the reason is. And then he will continue inshallah the story with those ayat. And Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ. So then Allah Azza wa Jalla basically have willed that Yusuf alayhi salam should enter the prison. And along when he entered the prison, there were two young fatayan, two young boys, also young, maybe, I don't know the age, could be 14, 13, 12, 15, I don't know. So two boys also entered the prison with him. And he was in his 18 years old age. So he was also a young youth. So there are three youths together, they all three went to prison. And when we think about this, Yusuf alayhi salam has not done anything wrong. He's an innocent man. And he was put in prison. He's not put in prison like here, the American prison, where they give you basketball and time to work out and weights, and then you have a bed and with a mattress and sheets and blanket. He's in the dungeons of Egypt, right? In the prisons of Egypt, in the undergrounds, in the subhanallah. So he's not in a very, very fun place. But you will see the quality of Yusuf alayhi salam. Even though he is put wrongfully in prison, he didn't do anything wrong. He's a prophet, he's a messenger, but see what people call him and what people season him inside the prison. Subhanallah. And then here Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ. Two boys entered the prison with him. قَالَ أَحَدُهُمَا. Now after they met with him, and then they are talking to him, and they learned what quality of a person he was, they learned that this person can predict things. And the prediction, this is ta'wil al-ahadith, what Allah Azza wa Jalla has taught him, the explanation of the events, the explanation of the dreams, not just dreams and also events. And this will be proven in this next few ayat here. So here one of them, they realized that this man has special power. So one of them told him, he says, I saw in the dream, inni arani asiru khamra. I saw myself squeezing wine, taking wine and squeeze it and making wine, and basically that's what I saw in the dream. وقال الآخر, and the other one said, إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه. I see myself carrying a tray of bread, and the birds are eating from this bread. So what does this mean? So they want to ask Yusuf alayhi salam, what does this mean in the dream? نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين. And this is the point that I want to say. So tell us what this means. Indeed, verily we see you among the muhsinin, the good doer. Like imagine a kid wrongfully put in prison, and everybody sees him as a great person, as a muhsin. Person goes out of his way to help others, out of his way to be righteous to others, even though he is put wrongfully in prison, and we will see how long he was put in prison. So you are a good doer, you are a good man, we see great things out of you, and we saw those dreams, so explain those dreams to us. قال لا يأتيكما طعام إلا ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما. So here he's proven to them that what he's going to tell them is truth, because he uses revelation from Allah. He's got the wahi. Allah Azza wa Jalla has made him a prophet. He says, not a single food that come to you except I tell you what it is before it comes to you. This is ta'wil al-ahadith. He explained the event, or he interprets the event, or he predicts the events before it happens. So the ones who tells you that Yusuf alayhi salam was only able to explain the dreams, no, Allah Azza wa Jalla says ta'wil al-ahadith. He explained the events. So he says, not a single food that you're going to be given in rizq from Allah Azza wa Jalla. So on that day, I'll tell you, today you're going to eat chicken. Today you're going to eat beans. Today you're going to eat this before it even comes. ذَلِكُمَا مِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي. I tell you this because Allah is the one who taught me. So he's not saying I'm smart, I'm good, again, he's humbling himself because this is the teaching from Allah Azza wa Jalla. إِنِّي تَرَكْتُ مِلَّةَ قَوْمٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ. Indeed, I don't follow the path of those who do not believe in Allah and did not believe in the hereafter, and they are in the hereafter, they are disbelievers. So basically, I left the religion of my master, but I continue. So here, the point that needs to be made here in this ayah is, they're asking him about the dreams. He found a great opportunity for da'wah, and that is something that we need to learn how to do. When somebody approaches you about something, always, and then you realize you can talk about Allah, you can make da'wah, you take that opportunity to do da'wah. So they asked him about explanation of the dream, and he says, well, let me tell you who I am. I give you prediction of what's happening. I do not follow the religion of the kuffar. What do I do? وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. But I follow the way of life and the religion of my fathers, Ibrahim, Abraham, Ishaq, Isaac, and Yaqub, and Jacob. مَا كَانَ لَنَا أَن نُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. We do not have the right to attribute others with Allah Azza wa Jal in anything. We don't worship anything but Allah Azza wa Jal. ذَلِكَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ عَلَيْنَا. Allah has blessed us with this. Allah is the one who bestowed His blessing upon us to make us Muslim. وَعَلَى النَّاسِ. And this is the favor of Allah unto all mankind, if they obey and they follow. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَشْكُرُونَ. But most people, the majority of the people, are not thankful to Allah. And that is the purpose of our religion, is to be thankful to Allah Azza wa Jal. So here basically is giving them da'wah to worship Allah, be thankful to Allah, follow the way of the Prophet and of the messengers. And and he's saying, I follow the way of my fathers, not just because they're my fathers, but they are prophets and they are messengers. Then he called them, and the way he calls them, he's not saying, hey guys, hey, he says, Ya sahibayi sijn, oh my companion in prison, my two companions in prison. أَأَرْبَابٌ مُتَفَرِّقُونَ خَيْرٌ أَمِ اللَّهُ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارُ. Is it better for you to follow different gods that are divided, or to follow the one and only God, the Almighty, the one that overpower everything else? ما تعبدون من دونه إلا أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم. You do not worship beside Allah except names that you called them, you named them, you and your fathers. ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان. Allah did not send any proof in them. Allah is the one who deserves to be worshipped. إن الحكم إلا لله. Indeed, the commands and the wisdom and all the wisdom belongs only to Allah Azza wa Jal. أمر ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه. Allah has commanded that you not worship anyone but Him. And these are the words of Yusuf telling them and making da'wah to them. O my companion in prison, worship Allah. ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. This is the straight religion. This is the great religion. This is the religion, that you should follow. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But indeed, most mankind are not aware of this. يَا صَاحِبَيِ السِّجْنِ. O my companion in prison. أَمَّا أَحَدُكُمَا. Now that he has made the da'wah, He says, I am a Muslim. I'm going to tell you this, but I want you to remember, I am a Muslim. I follow Allah, I worship Allah. I don't worship any of those things. And I'm going to tell you now what the explanation of the dream. He says, O my companion in prison, أما أحدكما, one of you, he didn't say you or you, but they got it when he explained to them. As far as one of you, فيسقي ربه خمرا. So he's going to serve his master wine. He's going to basically, one of you is going to be freed at one point, and then you're going to go and you're going to serve your master. You'll be a server for your master, and your job is to serve him wine. فيسقي ربه خمرا. وأما الآخر, as far as the other one, فيصلب, he's going to be crucified. فتأكل الطير من رأسه, and the birds are going to eat from his head. So make your guess. I'm not telling you that you're going to be crucified, you're going to be, but he says, based on the dreams, one of them you is going to be saved and is going to, serve his master wine, and the other one is going to be crucified, and the bird is going to eat from his head. قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ الَّذِي فِيهِ تَسْتَفْتِيَانِ. This is the decision and the answer for the issue that you're asking for questions about. وقال للذي ظن أنه ناج منهم اذكرني عند ربك فأنساه الشيطان ذكر ربه فلبث في السجن بضع سنين. So here, this is subhanallah. There's a lot of subhanallah interpretation, explanation. Not explanation. Lot of lessons to be learned from this. One verse. So then Yusuf alayhi salam, when he realized that one of them is going to be saved, so now he's asking help and support from a human, not from Allah Azza wa Jal. So then وقال للذي ظن أنه ناج منهما. So he told the one that Yusuf thought that's going to be saved. So he went to the one that's going to serve his master wine. He says, when you go to your master, tell him about me. Maybe they will let me out. So basically he's asking this man for advice. So then Allah Azza wa Jal says, فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ. The shaitan made him forget to ask Allah, and he asked, who did he ask? He asked this man instead. فَلَبِثَ فِي السِّجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. So Allah made him stay in the prison few years. بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. And some of the explanation, they said that he stayed in prison for 7 years. 7 years sitting in prison, wrongfully imprisoned, doing nothing. Subhanallah. Because he has not done nothing. But this was the will of Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah has a plan for him. Subhanallah. And he was patient. He realized that he has done this. Since then, he never asked any help from anybody. Subhanallah. فأنساه الشيطان ذكر ربه فلبث في السجن بضع سنين. He stayed in prison for a few years. Then, after a few years, that person that was saved, he ended up serving which master? He ended up serving the king. He was the server of the king. He serves him wine. That was his job. Just like Yusuf ﷺ said, this is what's going to happen to you. So he was the server of the king. And one night, the king woke up in the morning, and he saw a dream, a strange dream. He didn't know what to explain it. So he called everybody, and this is what happened. وقال الملك إني أرى سبع بقرات سمان يأكلهن سبع عجاف. The king said, I see 7 fat cows are being eaten by 7 skinny cows. And I also see وسبع سنبلات خضر وأخرى يابسات, and 7 ears of corn that are green, and 7 others that are يابسات, that are dry and basically rotten, dry, يابسات. يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في رؤياي إن كنتم للرؤيا تعبرون. O people, explain to me this vision, this dream, if you know how to interpret those dreams. So he called the magicians, he called everybody around him, and all of them came and they said, أضغاث قالوا أضغاث أحلام وما نحن بتأويل الأحلام بعالمين. They say these are all bunch of dreams, or like a convolution of dreams, or like things like that. But we do not know how to explain the dreams. Here Allah is using the word ahlam. Al-halam is a dream that you see at night when you're asleep. But Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam is able to explain al-ahadith, the event, whether it's in a dream or in real life. Subhanallah. وَقَالَ الَّذِي نَجَى مِنْهُ. So when he asked, who heard this question? Who heard people talking about all these dreams? The server. That server heard that the king need help in explaining a dream. So right away he remembered. وَقَالَ الَّذِي نَجَى مِنْهُمَا وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ أَنَا أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِتَأْوِيلِهِ فَأَرْسِلُونَ. So the one that was saved among those two boys, this one that was saved, وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ, and then he remembered. So everybody's asking about the dream and he completely forgot. So after a while, after he heard people, he said, oh, I remember, I know, and he said, أَنَا أُنَبِّئُكُمْ. He didn't say, I might know someone who might know how to explain it. He says, I will tell you what it is, just send me to that person. So he was so convicted that he knows for sure that Yusuf alayhi salam will know how to explain this dream. SubhanAllah. He says, send me to him and I'll bring you the answer. So he came, they sent this server, and they sent him to who? To Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf is still in prison. And that's after years, probably 7 years. Yusuf ayyuha siddiq. Again, subhanallah. See how they call Yusuf. Oh Yusuf, oh the generous one. Ayyuha siddiq. The generous, the good one, the muhsin. He's in prison, but that's what people call him because that's the quality they see in him. أفتنا في سبع بقرات سمان يأكلهن سبع عجاف. Explain to us the dream of, explain to us what does this mean in terms of 7 fat cows are being eaten by 7 skinny cows, وسبع سنبلات خضر وأخرى يابسات, and 7 ears of corn that are green and others that are dry. لعلي أرجع إلى الناس لعلهم يعلمون. Maybe I go back to the people, maybe they understand what I'm saying. He was so convicted, he knows that Yusuf alayhi salam is going to basically explain it to him. But here he's in front of Yusuf, he's being very polite. So maybe they will understand, maybe, help me. So Yusuf alayhi salam, he didn't tell this guy, I told you, you should have told your master about me. Why didn't you tell him about me? I'm not going to tell you about the dream. I don't want to talk to you. Go away. You didn't help me. Why should I help you? He didn't say that. He didn't even mention the fact that I told you to remember me in front of your master. He didn't ask him. He immediately, when he asked him for the question, he's a muhsin, he's a good doer. He immediately gave him the explanation of what that means. And he gave him the explanation, and he gave him also an addition to the explanation. Subhanallah. So he says, قال, immediately, تزرعون 7 سنين دأبا فما حصدتم فذروه في سنبله. You, for 7 years, you're going to have a great crop. You're going to go plant and plant and plant as many corn as you can. Not only he told them what's going to happen, but he also gave them the remedy, the explanation. He gave them the entire plan. And while he's still in prison, he didn't say, I'm going to give you the plan if you let me out of prison. He didn't make any restrictions. He says, you're going to plant for 7 years. Go and plant as much as you can. And the crops and the corn is going to be so healthy, but keep it in the green leaves of it. Don't open it. And take it and store it. So he says, فما حصدتم, whatever you pick, فذروه في سنبله. Keep it and don't open the corns. Keep the corn, keep it in its own shape. إلا قليلا مما تأكلون, except a few that you're going to eat. So the things that you're going to consume, the rest store it for 7 years. Keep storing it for 7 years. ثم يأتي من بعد ذلك 7 شداد. And after this, you're going to have 7 years of starvation. There will be no rain. There will be no water. It will be so hard for you to plant and to have crops. So during those 7 years, يأكلن ما قدمتم لهن إلا قليلا مما تحصنون. You're going to eat what you have preserved before, except a little bit that you were able to still plant. You might be able to still plant a little bit, but mainly you're going to be eating the supplies that you stored for 7 years. And then, that's the explanation of what the king saw. But Yusuf a.s. gave him further. He says, ثُمَّ يَأْتِي, and after that, مِن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ, after this, there will come a year, one year, فِيهِ يُغَاثُ النَّاسُ وَفِيهِ يَعْصِرُونَ. In it, the people will get abundance in rain, and they will be able to make juice and make all the fruits from all the the grapes and the apples and the stuff. So you'll be able to plant fruits, and you'll be able to make juice, and you'll be able to have healthy food again. So 7 years of good, 7 years of bad, a great year that will come after. So then, and that's he gave him, and he didn't ask for anything. So then that person, that server, went back to the king. So when the king heard this explanation, he says, وَقَالَ الْمَلِكُ ائْتُونِي بِهِ. Then the king says, bring him to me. I want to talk to him. So the king now wants to see Yusuf alayhi salam. Now imagine, you're in prison, and the king is extending for you an invitation to come and talk to him. And you know now that you have given the king exactly what he wants, and the king could give you millions of dollars or whatever you want, right? فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ الرَّسُولُ. When the messenger from the king came to Yusuf alayhi salam, what did Yusuf tell him? قَالَ رِجِعْ إِلَى رَبِّكَ. Go back to your master. Go back to him. I don't want no favors. I don't want out of prison because of a favor from the king. I want to prove my freedom. I want to prove my innocence. I did not come to prison because I was guilty. So he wants to prove his innocence. He doesn't want to go out because the king said so. ارجع إلى ربك. Go back to your Lord. فاسأله ما بال النسوة اللاتي قطعن أيديهن. Ask him, what is the matter with those women who cut their hands? إن ربي بكيدهن عليم. Indeed, Allah knows very well the plot and the plottings that they have done. So when that man, that servant, or that messenger went back to the king, and he told him he doesn't want to come out. He wants to know why was he put in prison, and why those women put him in prison, and ask the women, let them to testify to see what's going on. So then the king now became very anxious to know what's going on. What's the deal with this man? He's a great man, he's in prison, he refused to come out of prison, and he wants to prove his innocence. قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُنَّ. So the king has summoned all these women, including the wife of the Aziz, the wife of the treasurer of Egypt. قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُنَّ إِذْ رَاوَدتُّنَّ يُوسُفَ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. He said, what's the matter with you? What's the deal? Why did you seduce Yusuf? What did you do to Yusuf? قُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ مَا عَلِمْنَا عَلَيْهِ مِنْ سُوءٍ. Said, by Allah Azza wa Jal, we have not seen a single smidget of ill or anything wrong with this man. Then when they heard this and they testified all good about him, then the wife of Al-Aziz came forward. And she says, قَالَتِ امْرَأَةُ الْعَزِيزِ الْآنَ حَصْحَصَ الْحَقِّ. The wife of the Aziz, the wife of the treasurer, she came forward. He says, now I'm going to spill out the truth. The truth has come forward, so I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. أَنَا رَوَدْتُهُ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. I am the one who seduced him. وَإِنَّهُ لَمِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. And indeed, he is among the truthful. SubhanAllah, he's not a liar. He's not a bad person. ذلك ليعلم أني لم أخنه بالغيب وأن الله لا يهدي كيد الخائنين. And indeed, so he knows that I don't want to betray him while he's in his back. I know he's innocent, and I'm testifying, and Allah Azza wa Jal does not guide those who are betrayers. So then here she testified that he is an innocent person. He has not done anything wrong. And now the king heard all of this in front of him. And she says, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي. And I'm not trying to make myself, I'm not saying I'm an innocent person. Right? I am the one who tried this, who seduced him. I am the one who's at fault. إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. Indeed, the soul sometimes commands us to do something wrong. So I know that I am weak, I am a human, I made a mistake. إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي. Except those whom Allah Azza wa Jal has bestowed His mercy upon them. إِنَّ رَبِّي غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. In that, indeed, my Lord is most forgiving, most merciful. So she became Muslim, this lady. So when the king heard this, before he says, قَالَ الْمَلِكُ ائْتُونِي بِهِ, the king says, bring him forward to me, bring him to me. Now after all these events, and the king heard that this guy has been innocent for years in prison, he has not done anything wrong, and he is a good man, and he heard all these good things about him, so then the king made a statement, and he says, وقال الملك ائتوني به أستخلصه لنفسي. The king says, bring him to me. I want him exclusively for myself. He is now going to be my right hand. I want him for me. Subhanallah. And here you see that Allah Azza wa Jal has taken Yusuf alayhi salam from the worst of worst places to the best of best places, subhanallah, on earth. So he was put in the well, then he was enslaved, then he was in prison. Everything's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And because he was patient, because he was a muhsin, he was a good doer, because he was siddiq, because he was a truthful, and he was a true believer in Allah Azza wa Jal, and he steadfast, and he realized he made mistake when he asked this person to talk to his master about him. And now he's like, I don't want help from anybody. I want to get out of prison, and I want to get out of prison innocent. I want the world to know that I am an innocent man. So then when he came to the king, then the king says, فَلَمَّا كَلَّمَهُ قَالَ إِنَّكَ الْيَوْمَ لَدَيْنَا مَكِينٌ أَمِينٌ. When he came and talked to the king says, you have strength on earth and you are a trustworthy person. So whatever you want, what do you want? You can get it. So what did Yusuf ask? Subhanallah. And this is something also, a great wisdom that we need to learn. So Yusuf knows his strengths and knows his weaknesses. And he knows he could be good at one thing. So he is standing in front of the king, and he is not afraid to ask because he knows that he is the best man for the job. So what is the job ahead? The job ahead is basically to oversee the treasures of Egypt, or this wealth, all of this food that's going to be planted, so that it's going to be stored, and there's no corruption. Because if there was corruption, then there's no food, enough food, then 7 years will come and people will starve. Yusuf alayhi salam knows this. So he came and he asked the king, قَالَ اجْعَلْنِي عَلَى خَزَائِنِ الْأَرْضِ. Make me and put me in charge on the treasures of the land. I want to be the person in charge of the treasures of the land. Inni, and I have those two qualities. What are they? Inni hafidun alim. I am trustworthy and I'm knowledgeable. Why? Because when he was living with his master, he was al-Aziz, he was the treasurer, he learned the trick of treasury from his master. But the difference between him and his master, that Yusuf alayhi salam is a trustworthy one. He says, I am a person to be trusted, I am a person who is knowledgeable about this job. So, and this is the qualities what we do when we take a job. When you go apply for any job, you're applying for the job because you have knowledge. People hire you for your knowledge, and also they hire you for your trustworthiness, because you're trustworthy. He says, I have all the qualities, and this is my resume: trustworthy, knowledgeable. By those two words, the king believed him. He said, you got the job. Just because he said it, because he knows that Yusuf alayhi salam is a righteous man, and the world is testifying that Yusuf alayhi salam is a righteous man. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And then here Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, this is how we gave him strength on earth, Yusuf. He was a weak, he was a slave, he was in prison, now he is in charge of all of Egypt. يَتَبَوَّأ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَتَبَوَّأُ مِنْهَا حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ. He roams the land wherever he wants, however he wants. He has guards around him, his command is heard by people. Whatever he tells people, people must do, and he is basically can go and roam the land wherever he wants. نُصِيبُ بِرَحْمَتِنَا مَن نَشَاءُ. And Allah Azza wa Jalla says, we give from our mercy whomever we please. Allah Azza wa Jalla has blessed him in this life and has blessed him in the hereafter. وَلَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And indeed, we will not let go the reward of the good doers. Here, before, we said that in prison, the people are testifying that Yusuf alayhi salam is a muhsin, is a good doer. Here, who is testifying that Yusuf alayhi salam is a good doer? Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَلَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. We do not let go the reward of the muhsin. And Allah Azza wa Jal, multiple times in the Quran, He says the muhsin, Allah will reward them in this life and hereafter. وَلَا أَجْرُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. And indeed, the reward of the hereafter is better to those who were believers and those who do taqwa to Allah Azza wa Jal. So he was a muhsin, he was a believer, and he was a muttaqi. And as a result, Allah tested him. He put him in harsh tests. And Yusuf alayhi salam passed the test, and as a result, Allah Azza wa Jal has turned everything around for him and made him now in charge of all the treasures of Egypt. Inshallah, we will continue from here next week, inshallah, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. But you see the lessons and the wisdom and the quality of Yusuf alayhi salam and the patience of Yusuf alayhi salam. It's a story of all patience, story of righteousness, story of truthfulness, story of trusting Allah Azza wa Jal. And you see that Allah Azza wa Jal is going to turn the world around just for you because you are a righteous person. Subhanallah. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خير.